When I think about a well-rounded citizen, somebody who is capable, willing, and able to be able to defend people who maybe can't even defend themselves, inevitably I come back to backpacks, how to load them out, how to build them out well, and what to look for in a backpack so that we can carry firearms and gear with us every single day in a way that doesn't alarm the people around us. So it's no surprise that in our content, I have posted tons of videos talking about backpack guns, backpack gun builds, different weapons that you can put inside of a bag, how to discreetly carry a backpack on you every single day. And I get a lot of hate in these comments because people think that it's over the top. People think that there's no reason to have a backpack gun with you every single day. These are people that claim to be diehard supporters of your rights to carry firearms. However, the moment you say that you carry a rifle with you every single day, they just lose a head gasket and they just are blowing steam out of their ears and they can't wrap their head around it. So there's a cultural shift that's taking place. And that's why I'm so passionate about talking about these different backpack gun builds. But today, I just wanted to run you guys down through a couple different bullet points as to what I would be looking for in a backpack specifically as I am considering one for my loadout. But before I do that, let's talk real quick about why I think it's important for you to carry a backpack. Ultimately, there's going to be a time where you need to carry more gear with you. And maybe that's not a rifle in a backpack, but it might be a laptop. It should be medical. We should be thinking about having medical equipment with us. And I'm not even talking about just explosive trauma kits as well. I'm thinking about Band-Aid kits and gauze and regular stuff that you see every single day. People get a splinter, people get a paper cut or fall and get bruised or break a bone or sprain their ankle or whatever it might be. Having the ability to treat that on site or at least have the tools available in case something would go bad is very important. And I think that as an American especially, it's in our blood to have tools available and on tap at any given moment's notice to be able to respond. And I look at it sort of like looking at a modern day Minuteman. And I know that that might seem like a corny phrase. However, I think that it's important, especially for men in our culture and in our communities, to be able to, at a moment's notice, stand up and do what's right. And for me, part of that is having a backpack with a rifle within arm's reach all the time. And I know that, like I said at the beginning, some of you think that that's crazy, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you saying that right now, and maybe we can just meet in the middle and say, hey, backpacks are good for other supplemental gear. Maybe you're not quite at the point where you would throw a rifle in a backpack. And certainly there's situations where I would not carry my backpack with a rifle in it. I may just have an extra pair of clothes or water bottles or something like that in my bag, or food. It just depends on the situation. So please keep an open mind with all of that. But with all that being said, before I even throw a backpack on my back, there's going to be a couple different pieces of criteria that I'm going to be looking at in order to make sure that that backpack is going to function properly for me. So I've got a couple different options on the table here that we offer on our website. We've got a whole slew of different bags and options and models and colors on our website. Ultimately, if none of these check your box, guys, this isn't a sales pitch for you to try to buy bags from us, but I would love to help you get into a bag if you feel like we've earned that. But nonetheless, you can get these bags other places as well if that suits you more. But ultimately, right off the bat, I'm gonna use this EDC Ready Pack. This is a brand new bag. I just pulled it out of inventory. First thing that I'm looking at when I'm talking about a backpack is the color scheme. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is my personal favorite color scheme. I mean, it's pretty cute, but it looks a little feminine for my look. But Brenton's over here thinking, nah, dude, this is you. I don't know, guys, is this me? Is this what I am at this point? Is this me? Anyway, color scheme is important because I don't want to have a plain black, super tactical backpack for something that I'm carrying every single day in public. I know you're saying you're a hypocrite because my gamut over here is all black. This is not a bag that I carry every single day in public. This is a truck bag. This is one with a heavier medical loadout, carries a larger firearm. I do have it every single day, and I could carry it in an emergency if I have to and do it fairly discreetly. but that is not the best bag in my opinion if I'm trying to blend in. So I'm looking for color schemes like this Transit Sling 2.0, something that's green, something that blends in extremely well. I don't want to stand out, I want to blend in. So our attire, the way we hold ourselves, that matters as well, but the bag that we're wearing, if it's small, if it's discreet, if it fits the situation that we're in. Ultimately, if I'm walking around with this on my backpack, pretty much anywhere, nobody's ever gonna be like, oh, that dude's probably got a gun. But if I'm walking around with this chunky man, whatever you wanna call it, this Commuter Sling XL over here, it serves a purpose. It has a role. It has an awesome role when you're trying to carry a 12.5 in your vehicle, but it's a little big. If you were walking around in public on the street with this, it's a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. I would right away be like, why has that dude got a bag? But this, he's probably got a laptop or an iPad or pens or something like that. Probably just carrying some light gear. And I keep it loaded out as such. So color, then size. Size is critical. We wanna match the size of our bag to what we are doing. Now, if I'm out hiking, I'm in the wilderness and I'm just kind of rucking around and I'm among other people who are doing the same thing, a backpack like the Gamut will not stand out. So again, situation dependent, this is going to drive the size of the bag. Now, when we are looking at a backpack and its functionality, there's a couple other things that I really enjoy. I like having a strap that can go around my waist. I think that that's important for load bearing, especially when we're carrying heavy stuff. I like having a strap that can go across my chest because I like to distribute that load. I like to be able to quickly adjust the straps. That's important because if the bag is riding too loose, too low on your back, you're gonna be pulling yourself backwards. It's just gonna be uncomfortable. I also really like, especially with the Vertex bags, the texturing on the back, the padding. It adds a little bit of comfort. Supposedly it's there for breathability. I don't know if that truly adds breathability or not, but they are comfortable bags. The straps as well and how they tie into the bag itself matters a lot to me. I have yet in over 8 years found a way to destroy a Vertex bag. I haven't. My dog chewed one of the straps up here, the loops. That's it. But I have never had a strap come undone. And part of that is because of how thick the material is that they're using here, but also how it is attached to the body. You'll notice it's not just two little dinky straps that are just sewn into the face of the fabric. This thing is bound and mended and formed in a way that it just cannot come off. You couldn't rip these straps off if you wanted to. So the strap is obviously extremely important as well. And then the padding on the back of the strap is very important. Again, if we're carrying rifles and kit, they get pretty heavy pretty quick. It's easy to have 25 plus pounds in a backpack if you're not careful. Now, a bag like the Transit Sling, I am willing to make certain sacrifices because I know that this is a lighter loadout. So I don't care about having two straps. And in fact, for this bag, why I love it so much is because it is a single sling strap. And sometimes that's advantageous, just depends on what you're doing. But this strap is not quite as beefy as the Gamut 2.0 or the EDC Ready Pack. It just is not meant to hold the load that these bags are. So it's not as critical. But you'll still notice that there's a lot of padding. The way that the strap functions, there is a cross strap that can be added here. I took it off because I don't use it, but you also have that foam backer on the bag as well. And you'll see that consistently with all of these different bags. The next thing that I really like to see is a good layout. And so for me, a good layout of a bag means that there is ample space to store real things that I might need. And the Gamut's awesome because it folds flat. You have the ability to really fit some stuff in here. You can put a laptop. There's tons of pouches, and you can see I have mine loaded out with all kinds of goodies. Lots of interior components that are hidden. There's lots of ways to utilize the bag. There's some Velcro spots for extra flashlights, and there's even some hidden compartments floating around. I like, when I'm talking load bearing and heavy backpacks, I like to have a pouch that's completely separate so I can have medical equipment and medical gear easily accessible. And this front pouch on most of the Vertex bags works out perfectly for me. Sometimes I have to get a little creative when I'm using a smaller bag, but if it checks off my boxes, or I should say, if a bag desires to check off my boxes, it typically will have a way to hold medical gear separate from my other gear so that I know I can open up one pouch and get to it right away. On the EDC Ready Pack, the way I would use that is either in this front pouch right here, or there's also an interior pouch with some MOLLE webbing that I will hook my medical equipment onto. And there's also some loop here. So if you had hook Velcro accessories, you could slap them right here. Plenty of space down in the bottom here as well. So again, this isn't necessarily to show you certain models and what each bag does or doesn't do, but these are some things I think about. Good straps, good quality construction, heavy materials. The reason I love Vertex bags so much, and there's other bags in the market that I really like as well, but we stock the Vertex bags on our website because they have held up so well and they use such high quality materials. Another key component that I always look for is what kind of zippers are they running? Are they quality zippers? I mean, you can hear that. Hear what I'm saying? See that? Let's get it in the mic. Got that good quality zip going on there. That's important because nothing is more frustrating than you trying to get gear out of your backpack and then ultimately having a zipper get snug up. And again, that's something I just don't experience when I'm working with the Vertex bags. The last thing that I would be looking at as far as checking off some boxes is the backpack has to have some major sections of loop inside of it. And I will show you on this EDC Ready Pack that inside the back here, there is a major section of loop that you guys can pull out. So the reason this is important is because if I want to mount accessories like any of our mag carriers, you need to have loop panels to be able to do that. And these bags, pretty much every bag I think from Vertex, will have some sort of loop somewhere inside of the bag, which just further expands your ability to carry gear and kit in a way that makes sense. So ultimately, I'm looking for a bag that's extremely durable, one that has amazing options for storage and stowage of gear, and it has to be laid out in an intuitive way. I don't want to have to go through 15 pouches where I can get lost, quite literally, or I have to reach through gear to get to gear. I want to be able to separate it in a way that makes a whole lot of sense. Last thing I like to look for is a backpack that allows me to carry armor in a separate compartment from everything else. Just like the magazines and the medical and the ability to separate out other gear, I don't want a loose armor panel just shoved down into the backpack where it's just getting in the way of everything around me. So that's another critical aspect. So now that I laid out some of the most important notes on the backpacks that I personally look for, here's some things that I would avoid. I would avoid MOLLE webbing on the outside of your bag. That is the tactical thing to do. And back in the day, that was the cool thing to do. Everybody thought it was awesome to have a black backpack with MOLLE all over the outside. From a functional standpoint, sure, that might check off some boxes. When you're walking around, that screams, holy cow, look at me, tactical man. I probably have stuff in my bag that you don't want to know about. The other thing that I try to avoid is very thin fabrics. I do not want super, super thin fabrics. I want durability. I'm willing to pay more. And every time I bought a backpack that is cheap, I have regretted it every single time. So I will pay more to have a higher quality backpack. The last point that I just want to hammer home is I do not like backpacks that simply open up and have one major pouch. If they just have one massive pouch, I'm not about that life because I want to be able to separate out my gear. Now, ultimately, guys, having a backpack and loading it out is not super complicated, but it does require some forethought. It requires some thinking as you are laying it out so that your gear is exactly where you want. And ultimately, you end up with a bag that is discreet, that blends in with your terrain and your surroundings, rather than making you stand out like a sore thumb. So all in all, I hope this video was helpful. These are just a couple bullet points that I would consider if I'm in your shoes looking for a backpack. If you need help getting a bag, you could always email us cs@arcane.com. That is cs@arcane.com. We would be happy to answer your questions about any of the bags that we stock on our website. If you have any questions about fitment, barrel length, armor plates, things like that, we'd be happy to help you out. And you can get your armor, your weapon accessories, kit, mag carriers, and all sorts of other accessories for these bags on our website. We'll put all the links down in the description, but the real question is, do you guys carry bag guns, or have you not matured yet? hit us in the comments section down below. We'd appreciate a subscribe and a like on this video, and share it with your friends and family who are thinking about getting into a backpack, and just save them from that molly webbing on the outside of that bag. Guys, I appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video.